No. So good morning.
Good morning.
And my name is Dawn Ashback, and I am here with Mike Murphy on August 12th, 2025.
Right.
And we're here in his studio. So we're going to do a little history. I'm just going to ask you some kind of plain questions so that we can get that out of the way.
Okay.
And then we can get to the interesting stuff.
If there is any.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your full name, your birth date, where you were born?
Michael Edward Murphy. I was born September 29th, 1950 in San Francisco, California.
Oh my goodness. So how did you come, so you went to school in San Francisco?
Oh yeah.
So when did you leave San Francisco?
When I got out of the Navy.
Okay. So you went into the Navy. What did you do in the Navy?
I was a boiler tender. I was on a ship stationed at Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay.
Oh my.
And we came up one winter, I believe it was.
When you say
came
we.
up the coast, the ship came up the coast,
Okay.
following a Russian fishing trawler that was doing surveillance on the coast of California, Oregon, Washington, and we followed all the way up to Alaska, and then we came back down.
Wow.
And we came in through the Straits of Juan de Fuca, and I got out of the boiler room and I looked around, and I said, well, that's where I'm going to go. And so I decided at that point that I was going to end up here.
End up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. My dad was born in eastern Washington,
Okay.
a town called Malden, which is southeast of Spokane. It had a fire about 5 years ago, I'd say, that burnt most of the town down. It was kind of a well-known fire at the time, one of the...
The big ones.
Yeah. And then they moved to Baker, Oregon, and he grew up in Baker. And then when he was in high school, he decided that he needed to join the seminary, so he did.
Oh wow.
And he went down to St. Joseph's in California, and then he decided that he didn't belong as a priest, so he got out and moved into San Francisco and was a longshoreman on the river boats up the Sacramento River, and then a conductor on the streetcars, and then he got into the fire department and ended up as a chief in San Francisco. And but you know, there was always a fondness for the Northwest. And when I was in the Navy, I had a friend that was from Linwood, and we talked about it, and I told him I wanted to go to a cabinet making school, and he told me there was one in Seattle.
Okay.
So I came up to Seattle and looked at the Seattle Central Community College cabinet making program and signed up for that, and then moved up and lived in Snohomish for a couple of years while I was going to the school, and met some guys down there, Ken Powell and Pat Brody, that were from Anacortes. And I told them I didn't know what was missing, but I just couldn't stay in Snohomish. And they said, come up to Anacortes. So I came up to Anacortes, and the first thing I noticed was the salt air. And having grown up a mile and a half from Ocean Beach in San Francisco, I knew that that's where I needed to be.
It felt right.
So, yeah. So, I lived here for about a year and a half.
What year was that?
Well, I came up in late 75
To go to Anacortes.
to come to Anacortes,
Okay.
right. And late 75 or early 76. And I went to work at Lovric's. And because these guys had been in the boat building school at Gompers, or Seattle Central Community College, and I just enjoyed it, and the boat building teacher took a liking to me. So I applied at Loverex and got a job at Loverex. And started meeting people around that were working on boats, and I met Dave Hartford, and he said, "Hey, we're having a Christmas party, and would you like to come out?" And so this would have been in early '76. No, late '75.
Christmas.
It would have been late '75, and I said, "Yeah, I'd come out." So I came out, and
When you say came out to Guimas.
to Guimas, yes. And he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I want to find a place to live here." He said, "This is where I'm gonna move to."
It felt like home.
Yeah, it was just the right place. And so that's how I got here. And Tom Lindsay was living across the street with Dave in two separate places.
Right.
And I told Tom, I said, "Hey, find me a cheap place to buy, cheap property to buy." And he said, "Oh, that's all gone. I got the last of it." And I said, "Well, keep your eyes open." So must have been April or May. I guess it was April of '76 that he called me up and he said, "Hey," he said, "I saw some guys looking at the property across the street," and he said, it's for sale for $11,500, and
How many acres?
10 acres. And he said, I told him that, they'd have a hard time getting water and septic and blah, blah, blah. He said, "You better jump on it quick if you want it." So I did, and ended up buying it and carving a little path back into the woods. And so I moved in. After having purchased it, I moved a cabin from Reservation Road on my flatbed truck
Oh, boy.
onto the old Elmar with 2 inches of clearance on the old
Keep
bridge.
your fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I nicked one corner of it, but I got it off and dropped it down and lived in the woods for a year and a half, 2 years before I could even get any kind of clearing out here, because all I had was a chainsaw and a PV and machete and no money. But I had a job, so I made a few bucks and ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly and just worked away at making a clearing. And then in '79, I heard about a building in Mount Vernon being torn down.
Okay.
The Franklin Steel and Iron Works building, which was right next to Skagit River Brewery. It's the parking lot now for the county there. And so I talked with Tom Lindsay, and I said, "Hey Tom, we need to tear this building down. It's got a lot of materials in it." And he said, "Well, I'll talk to Henry." Is it Henry Stein? Not Stein. He was an architect in Mount Vernon.
Oh, I don't know.
He designed the courthouse. Anyway, he was an immigrant from Germany, and he knew the value of materials. And so he said, "Well, I don't think it'll do any good, but I'll talk to the mayor." So he talked to the mayor, and the mayor said, "Okay, I'll tell you what, you guys, I'll give you a month to tear it down, and then we're coming in with the bulldozers. You get whatever you can in that length of time, and I'll give you $2,000 worth of sickle steel crane time."
Oh, wow.
So the ridge pole in the shop is a 34-foot 8x10, and
Oh, my.
that was one of the timbers that was up in the top of the Franklin building. And sickle steel lifted me up on a pallet. I had a cutting torch, and I had to cut the steel that was holding these things together. And as each tie member broke loose, it swung down, slammed the truss behind it, and then dropped to the ground. And as the consecutive pieces got cut, the motion was that much more because there was that much less holding it together.
Oh, boy.
And I was pretty shaken by the time it was done. But we got it all cut out and got those trusses down and stripped them apart. Tom Lindsay, Dave Hartford, myself, Steve Myers, and Dennis Sullivan
Oh, wow.
went in and we ripped all of the upper story, which is the subfloor here. There were 2x6s on edge, nailed solid, so it was a 6-inch thick
Wow.
floor. We ripped all those apart, pulled all the nails, put all the lumber on trucks, brought it out here, and then, you know, it was just stored for a little while, and then I started putting it together with these 12x20s up here. And they're mortise and tenon from the
I see
poles
that.
into the timbers, and I raised those up with Arnie's boom truck.
Boom truck, yep.
And then I set up the 3 vertical poles up above, and they were laying down on top of the timbers. And then I put the ridge pole into those, or the verticals into the ridge pole. And then I had an old boom truck that Al Ryberg had built.
Oh, my.
And that steel plates, those pieces of steel up there,
Oh, right, I see 'em.
there was a pin running across it and a gin pole that was vertical, and I had the boom tied off to the back of the 12x20 there, and I started to lift it, and as it butted against those other steel plates, so it couldn't go
I
sideways.
see, yeah, yeah.
And
Supported it.
As it got to the point where that gin pole was no longer necessary, it just dropped down on top of the timber, and the ridge pole continued to go up, and then it slid down into the mortises in the top of the 12x20. And
Like, creative thinker you are.
well, I had help. I mean, Russ Hibbler was a big part of that in town. And he told me how to do it, and I just set it up. It took me a month to set it up and 5 minutes to raise it. And then I just proceeded from there with help from Kenny Powell and Pat Brody and Vic Kalina to
Oh,
put
wow,
the
yeah.
rafters up. Charlie Townsend pulled the boom log off of the beach for me that I cut those, or Bob Porter cut those 2x8s out of for the roof. And then by September 29th, 1980, the roof was on. The lower roof and the upper roof and the cupola. But no walls, no floor.
It's like a frame house.
Yeah,
Frame building.
and then from there I just proceeded to, put timbers down underneath and that I'd scrounged from Franklin Building. Some of them came from Scott Paper. Some of them came from, it was either the old high school or the middle school remodel.
Columbia.
I don't remember which. And, I just put it together, and Nick Fahey out on Cypress Island milled all the board and bat on the outside. The yellow cedar was beach logged and porter cut, and then I milled it into diagonals. And the windows came out of Semiahmoo
Oh, yeah.
when it was the sawmill.
Oh, jeez.
I bought all the windows for the shop, and they were all pretty much broken.
Uh-huh.
I had to reglaze every one of them. And I bought them for $50. The guy had used the good ones and had these left over, and he said, I'll just give them all to you for $50.
So you wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I, reglazed them all, put them all in. It took 4 or 5 years to get it really closed in.
Yeah.
Because I had to make a living at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
And,
This was your weekend job.
and nights.
Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I want to mention here that for the camera, for the recording here, is that we have another video of just solely his shop doing it and him describing different parts in the shop. So that would be in conjunction with this interview.
Okay, so what's the next question?
Okay.
That
Well.
was a long answer.
That's fine. That's fine because you've actually because you're very respected boat ride. I mean, in your yeah. So Kenny Powell, when Kenny Powell's passing, must have just been such a blow for you.
Well, it was a blow for everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, he
yeah.
was only, 40 years old?
Yeah, right. I know it. And I remember us all going over to his property and doing a bunch of work
Right,
before she had the baby.
right.
Yeah, it was just so moving.
Yeah.
Just so moving.
Well, my thought, I mean, he had cancer of the pancreas, the liver. And when he was younger, when he was in high school, he was working in boatyards down in the Portland area.
Okay.
And at that point in time, lead bottom paint and all the toxic creosotes and things like that, somebody knew they were bad for you, but the people that were using them didn't. And I think that is a good part of what happened to Kenny
Oh God.
was because of that. So, but, I mean, it was a tragic situation.
Right. And preventable.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
preventable, had he known.
Had he known, right? Or somebody told him.
Yeah, so, and I mean, we worked together at Loverix, and he was building this boat right here. At the same time, Vic Kalina was working on a cat boat here, right next to Kenny's shed.
Okay.
And
Wow.
that he had started on Reservation Road, and he had the hull built, and then he moved it over here and put the deck and the house on.
So he had property here next to you?
No, he was just using,
Oh, because his
built a
house
little
was
shed.
down there. Okay.
Yeah, and they were living in Nashams, where you first
Oh,
came.
okay, yeah.
And then he finished it down there and launched it there. And then he and Trish sailed off to Alaska, and he worked in Sitka for, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Just had a floating shop, and he fixed boats. And then they moved back down here and bought a house in Port Ludlow, and he was working in Port Townsend as a shipwright there. And then he he traded the house in Ludlow for a boat that was built for the Commodore of the Vancouver Yacht Club in, I think,
No, we're talking about Vic
this
right
is
now.
Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1919 or 1921.
Vic Kalina.
And refitted it, sailed it down to Mexico, and then through the
Yeah, look him now.
through Tahiti and
Oh.
the Marquesas and all of the South Pacific Islands that they hit on the way to New Zealand, and they live in New Zealand now for about, I don't know, 30 years.
Is that how long it's been?
I
Oh,
think so.
gosh. Yeah, because I still remember when they were around.
Yeah.
It's nice that Trish comes back every once in a while.
Yeah, her sister's still here.
Oh, okay. In Anacortes?
Yes.
Oh,
Trish lived in Anacortes as a child. Her dad worked at the refineries when they first opened,
okay.
and so they lived out on Yukiko. And Judy Middleton,
Yeah,
Judy? That's her sister.
Right, I knew that. But
Yeah. So she comes back to visit Judy, and
And then comes over.
yeah. So, and she visits Lori Steele, because they're both horse people. I think Trish ended up selling her horses a few years ago. I think she got hurt and decided that it was time to stop.
Yeah, that's what happens to people.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, what's next?
Okay, well, I know that Trish has got a bunch of, I just want this, the Trish has got a bunch of photographs about the early boat building on Guimas that we are trying to bring into our archives, and so
Right.
that's a work in progress right now.
Yes,
This one.
and she talked with Eric,
Oh, she did good.
yes, and they're gonna work it out, and he's gonna get the whole hard drive's worth of photos sent up here from New Zealand.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I hope, yeah. I know that someone else tried to make it work and it didn't work. Can you, okay, so what are some of the boats that you worked on? Like, did you work on fishing boats?
Oh, yeah, Seiners, the
Yeah.
Pacific Breeze, the Samidi was a long liner. Some other boats that I don't really remember the names, I just, we planked
Yeah.
them, we put frames in them, we put timbers in them.
Did you wear
Nah,
protective?
no,
Yeah.
that wasn't a part of it.
Yeah,
in
you
the
just didn't.
early 80s. And then in 1980, I decided that I wanted to go to work for myself. So I was working on trollers, gill netters, down on the docks at Cap Sandy.
So you just hung your own shingle out and,
Yeah, the Donaloo, what was his name? Julie Jolin was a seiner. Pete Pitts had a longliner that I worked on. That was Andy's dad. Remember Andy
oh,
Pitts?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And several other boats down along the dock, A dock, or actually more B dock than A dock. And at that time, we could work in the water. It was not a problem, So, I mean, I tore the whole timber stern off of a 40-foot troller and
Wow.
rebuilt it right on the
Well, it
water.
was in the water.
Yeah. And
That could be a little scary, wasn't it?
well, I wasn't smart enough to know that. Rick Gilman owned the boat, and he asked me, he said, have you ever done timber work on boats? And I said, oh, yeah. He says, you want to rebuild the stern of my boat? It's getting rotten. And I said, sure. So I went down and started working on it and was putting it back together. And some other fishermen came by and said, hey, what's going on? And he said, oh, Mike's just rebuilding the stern of my boat. He's done this before. And I said, no, I haven't done this before. He said, well, you told me you had. And I said, no, you asked me if I'd done timber work on boats before. And yes, I have. So he was like,
Uh-oh.
oh, okay. But it came out
Yeah.
just,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good job, and and I also worked with Russ Hibbler on that particular boat. We built a bait shed for it because he was long lining and trolling,
Okay.
and I'd go down to the boat, take the patterns off of the bulwarks, take them back, set up the jig in Hibby's shop, and then he'd do all the welding, and I'd do the cutting and fitting, and then we took it down and put it down on top of the bulwarks, and away it went.
Just fit.
So I built top houses out of aluminum. Hibby and I partnered up on several jobs.
And how old was he? Was he older than you?
Well, he died, when did he?
Because some reason that's a familiar name with me.
He died 10 years ago at 101.
And he had a
Russ
son,
Hibbler,
right?
yeah. Harry and Cranston.
Cranston, that's the
Cranston was the one that
one. That's the one Bud knew.
died in Vietnam.
Vietnam. Yes, but
Yes.
and Bud just said it just tore him apart.
Oh boy, did it
Yeah.
ever. And I think,
Well, of course it would. I mean.
yeah, and Ethel, his wife, even more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It was Cranston. Yeah.
yeah, my thought about that whole thing is that Hibby kind of adopted me as
nice.
his son.
Surrogate son.
Yeah, and which was very beneficial to me because, I mean, he taught me a lot. I used his shop. I had a key to his shop, so anytime I needed to do any kind of work, I put a table saw and a little bandsaw over there, and I'd just go in and
Nice.
do the work.
Nice,
And,
yeah.
and we, did steamboating together. And
Steamboating.
yeah, he was a steamboat enthusiast. He had
Oh.
a boat called the Letha.
Oh,
It was a 26-foot double-ended lifeboat. And when I first met him, within a year or two, he said, well, I want to put a house on the Letha. Do you want to put it on? I said, oh, I don't know. He said, yeah, you can do it. And so we did. We put the house on it. And it's the old traditional style steamboat with the roof that follows the sheer of the boat. And,
where is that now?
it's up on Lake Whatcom. When he
Oh.
died, it went up for auction. And a guy in Lake Whatcom bought it and rebuilt it again. All of the things that were wrong with it.
Must have had good bones, though.
Yeah, and so that's a boat I worked on. I mean, I worked on the America's Cup boat
Well, I was going to ask you about that.
for a year and a half.
How did that happen? No, explain.
Well, I have to start a
explain
little-
what the America's Cup is.
No, I better
Okay.
start
Okay,
before
start at
that.
the beginning.
Okay, so Starkovich, Tim Starkovich. I worked with him on some projects. Oh, I know, I was working for Anacortes Yacht Charters, and he was a boat skipper for Anacortes
Right.
Yacht Charters. And so we met, and he went to work for a guy named Joe Traylor, who was Orrin Edson's skipper. Orrin Edson owned Bayliner, was
Oh.
one of the two people that started Bayliner.
His name is Orrin what?
Edson, Orrin Edson, and I believe it was John Hughes, started Bayliner. They built these little fiberglass skiffs, and then
Yeah.
they decided if they put an engine on it, they could sell it for more, and if they put a trailer under it, they could sell it for even more. And it built into Bayliner.
This is so funny. I just had lunch with a friend. She's going out on one of those Bayliners with one of those guys that you just named. They're going out for a week
Okay,
on a boat. What a small world.
right, yeah, so.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Anyway, when Tim was working for the Aviva, which was a 160-foot boat that Orrin Edson had built in Port Townsend, the guy that was running the show was Tom George from Port Townsend, and he was looking for somebody that could help do the work on the boat. And this was all aluminum work. They ripped everything out of the engine rooms, including the engines, and they took all of the liner, the soundproof liner out, put all new soundproof liner in, and then we came in and built aluminum frames and cut perf plate, which is a perforated aluminum plate.
This is you and Hibbler?
No, Hibby was out of that picture
Okay.
at that point in time.
Okay.
This was Tom George was running
Okay.
the job,
Okay, totally.
and there were three other guys. Their names escape me right now, but anyways, we worked on that, and I worked on it for 3 months, and then we put it back together so that Orrin could take it to Alaska for the summer, and then it came back, and Tom didn't want to come back, so I ran the job after that for another 3 months, getting the whole rest of it put back together. And then Tom got a call from Mark Turner, Tugboat, who was the head guy at Oracle,
Okay.
or not Oracle, but Core Builders, who was the company that was building the America's Cup boat for Oracle.
Okay.
And this was when they had the monohulls that they were racing in Valencia. And they wanted to modify the stern of one of the boats, so Tom called me up and said, hey, you want to work on an America's Cup boat? And I said, sure. So I worked on that for 2 or 3 months. And then they lost that series of races, but they challenged the guy that won just to a single match between 2 boats, and they decided on the multi-hull boats. So, and the parameters were 90 by 90, so it could be 90 feet wide and 90 feet long.
Okay.
And
Oh, interesting.
I can't remember who the guy was that had the other boat. If he was Swiss or German, or he was somewhere out, maybe even Italy. And they decided to go with a catamaran, which is 2 hulls, and Oracle decided to go with a trimaran, which is 3 hulls. And so when, after the monohull was finished, you know, I was back to my other work, and Mark called me and said, hey, you want to work on the next project?
Next version.
And I said, yeah, I'd be
It's
interested
fun.
in that. And no, it wasn't fun.
Oh,
It was a long, hard slog. It was 10 hours a day, 6 days a week
and where was this?
in Anacortes at the 1920 R Avenue, across from Ace Hardware,
Okay.
in that big shed. And it was, I mean, the first month, every Sunday when I got up in the morning, I had breakfast and I went to sleep, and I slept the day. And after a month or so, I got acclimated to it and could do a little bit on Sundays, but not a lot. And so, but Mark asked if I knew anybody else that was interested in working on the project, and I said, well, I think my boys would be interested. And Gabe had just graduated from Western in composites engineering, and
Perfect.
Austin had just graduated from Anacortes High School and was looking to make some money so he could go to Australia and New Zealand. And so Austin worked on it for a year. I worked on it for 19 months, a little bit over a year and a half, and Gabe worked on it for almost 2 years. And then it launched and they won the America's
Yeah.
Cup. But you know, I mean, the Aviva was a 160-foot boat, and it was, all the work on it was aluminum. The Oracle was carbon fiber, and you know, there was some woodwork to make the molds and things like that, but there was a lot of carbon fiber work.
Which is just right up Gabe's alley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, but I've worked on boats from 26 feet to 160 feet. And you know, when I went to work for the Oracle guys on the job, I interviewed with them, and Tim Smythe was Mark's administrator. And he said, well, he says, you worked on a lot of boats, but you haven't worked on any carbon fiber boats. And I said, well, that doesn't matter, it's just a boat.
Yeah, just different material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, so they hired me, and then when they got to a push to shove situation and they needed more clamps, I brought 50 or 100 clamps over, and Tim went, oh, this is why we hired you.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
but yeah, I mean,
That's cute.
I worked on the Denali with Pat Brody. That was a boat that was reputed to be Al Capone's boat. It was over in La Conner. That was in the early days, in the late 70s. We did a boat out at Skyline that Pat Brody got the job of extending a troller 10 feet, which was quite a project.
Well, yeah.
And that boat
I
was
don't know how
called Wings.
Can you imagine how you do that?
I mean, I've just done, bizarre things, I guess. Things that other people,
It
don't
sound-
know how to do.
Yeah, it sounds like things weren't platted out. It was just like, oh, that's an opportunity to learn. That's an opportunity. That's an opportunity, and you've been able to take advantage of all those.
Yeah, well,
learn.
see, I can make a crooked line look straight.
Yeah.
And most people can't even make a straight line
Mine looks
straight. And I'm not that good at straight lines either, but I can sure make a crooked one look good. And I had a teacher at the cabinet school that he was actually the boat building teacher, Earl Wakefield. And one of the things that he used to say is, if it looks good, it is. And it's like, oh, that makes sense,
Yeah.
So, and I built furniture for, I don't know how many different people. Really nice, some really nice pieces of furniture.
Yeah.
I've got photographs of them, but
Oh, okay. I have one piece of your furniture.
that's right. That was the wood box.
Right, it's a toy box.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And-
No, I wasn't going to put wood in it.
Well,
I know
that's
that's
what
what it was
George
supposed-
Wilson put in his.
Oh, he did.
He wanted a wood box.
Oh, well, it was
Yeah.
too nice for that.
So,
I wasn't having anything bumping on it.
yeah. I went down to South Carolina with Bob White and Chet Burdock. Worked
Oh.
on Mark Messier's house down there. You know Mark Messier? He's one of the top 10 hockey players of all time.
Oh. That was fun. In South Carolina?
It was
So how long are
interesting.
you down there?
Just a summer.
Hot summer, I bet.
It was a hot summer, very hot. When it rained and the water came off of the roof, if you were underneath where it was dripping, you could damn near get scolded.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So hot.
so worked there. I mean, I worked for Northern Marine for 3 years while we were building our house, and did any aspect of it except for the layup of the fiberglass. Laying out floors and decks and houses and that to the interiors and doing the pilot houses, the master staterooms, the main salon, parts of the main salon, the
Thanks.
staircases, just anything that challenged the thought process.
And you enjoyed it all.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things I didn't enjoy was when we first got here and I had to scrounge to eat, and I'd go underneath houses on North Beach in the wintertime and fix frozen pipes.
Ouch.
Yeah,
ouch. Yeah, you were young then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And,
Young and hungry.
Yeah, and hungry. And but gosh, I mean, anything that I've ever done has just been because it happened to come along. And
You were the
it looked,
guy for it, though. You were
and-
the guy for it.
yeah, and it looked interesting. And I mean, there were jobs I turned down. One lady had come into town one day and she had a problem with her sailboat, and I was told where it was, and it wasn't there. And it took me half an hour to find it. And I went down to the boat and I said, are you so-and-so? Yeah. Is this your boat? Yeah. I said, well, you told me it was over here and it's over here. And she says, well, that's too bad. It's here now. And I said, oh, excuse me. find somebody else. I'm not working for you.
Yeah,
And I walked
that
away.
attitude's not gonna work. It's
Yeah,
gonna fly.
I did. And she just looked at me like,
Yeah,
and it's, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, but
she probably
you know,
got away with it a lot.
yeah, if you got that attitude, find somebody else that'll do it, because I won't.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, there's no reason for that. So,
No, if she was rude then, she was gonna be rude another time.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you have Gabe and Austin, so, and they are enjoying the island as well?
Well, Austin lives in town now. Because he's running the Nordland 2, one of the
Oh.
transports
Oh,
out
oh,
into the islands.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, that's his boat,
okay.
basically. I
Oh,
mean,
fun.
it's owned by San Juan Barge and
Enterprise or something?
Tug or something
Okay,
like that.
okay.
But he started out with Dan Crooks on San Juan Enterprise
Mm-hmm.
and learned the ropes there, how to run that type of boat. And
Isn't that kind of what Petrick does?
no, Jonah
Jonah?
is a tugboat captain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure who he's working for now, but somebody around here.
Oh, he
And
lives
he
here.
moved back to the island.
Oh, he's living on the island.
They
Oh, funny.
they bought what were Rick and Joan's neighbors. Begins with an M. Anyway,
Oh, Meekin. No, not Meekin.
not
No, not
Meekin,
Meekin.
but it
But it
sounds
sounds like Milliken.
Milliken.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes. They bought Milliken's house.
Oh, nice.
Sold their house in town, bought Milliken.
Oh, okay. So there's family affair there, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's nice
well,
for
just
them.
like Gabe and
Yeah,
us,
lovely.
you know.
Yeah, lovely.
So Austin, you know, after he got out of the core builder thing for the America's Cup boat, he went to New Zealand and Australia and came back and worked for Dan, and then they bought a sailboat, a wreck of a sailboat, and rebuilt it. Took him a year, he and Elise, namesake, right?
Yes, thank you. I love her name.
And they sailed to Mexico.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
We're in the Sea of Cortez for 2 or 3 months, and then COVID hit. They sailed it to Hawaii.
Wow.
Stayed there for a while, came back, worked the summer, went back to Hawaii, got the boat fit, sailed down to French Polynesia, Tahiti, the Marquesas, the Tuamatus,
That's
and then
huge.
back to Hawaii on a 37-foot sailboat. And then they put the boat up for sale there and flew back here, and he started working on Nordland 2 the day he got back. And that was the day he had to be back in order to have the job. So it was kind of a mad rush, and at the same time they were buying a house in Anacortes.
A lot of balls in the air.
Yeah, but they had help from Don and Melissa King, because that's Elise's mom and dad. And do you know Don King?
Was he a policeman?
No,
Okay.
no, that was Mike King.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's a kind of developer,
Oh,
buys property and builds a house and lives in it for a couple of years and sells it. And
flips it.
yeah, flips it. Anyway, they helped them buy that house, and it's right at the top of Commercial, the south end of Commercial. When you hit Fidalgo Street there, you
Yes,
either have
yes.
to turn left or turn right.
Right.
If you go across the street, you're right in their front yard.
Oh, nice.
So it's, you know, a mile and a half from work, and in the summertime he can ride his bike. And,
Walk. Yeah.
yeah, and right now they're getting ready to leave tomorrow for Desolation Sound on Mac Maidenwald's
Oh.
sailboat.
Oh. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Nick Esfold is a partner in that.
Okay. Oh, is it a rental boat? Or do they rent it out? Is that
No, no,
He
no.
just
It's,
owns part of it.
yeah, he owns part of it, and
No, I know Nick.
Wendy owns the other part of it. Wendy Gray, who was Mac's wife.
Oh, yes, Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so she's going with them for the first 5 days. They're gonna head up north, and then they're gonna go into Pender Harbor, and she's gonna take a flight back to Seattle, seaplane flight back to Seattle. And then Austin and Elise and Reed are gonna sail around Desolation Sound for another 5 days.
Sounds beautiful.
And then they're gonna meet up with Nick, and he's driving up with a couple of his buddies, and then they're gonna switch. Nick's gonna get on the boat with his buds, and Austin and Elise are gonna get in the car and drive back here, and he's gonna
Fun.
go back to
That'll be
work.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it's a
circle.
different, it's a different, experience in the car. A good one too. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
so
good
that's
for
kind of where
Austin.
he's at now,
Yeah,
with a
good for Austin.
2-year-old boy that's a sailor, and I mean, he's been in small airplanes, he's been in large airplanes, he's flown to Costa Rica. They take him all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been to the zoo 4 or 5 times, the Seattle Zoo, Padilla Bay, the aquarium in Seattle.
Oh, sure. All
you
those
know,
experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's gonna be a very cool kid.
when he gets a little bit older, we're gonna, Charmaine and I are gonna give him season pass to the Seattle Children's Theater.
Oh, that's nice.
That was so much fun for us with the kids. I mean, it was as much fun for me as it was for the kids.
That's what's kind of nice about having kids. You get to do all these things.
Yeah, you
wouldn't
know,
do.
you go to Charlotte's Web, and
Yeah,
you know,
right,
all these
yeah.
other different ones, and so anyway, that's awesome. And then Gabe, you know, after the America's Cup, one of his buddies that he'd worked on the America's Cup with said, "Hey, you know, we got this deal going down here in the Bay Area."
Jeez. Sorry.
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And so he went down there to work on a project called Kite Boat, which was a boat that was propelled by a kite.
Oh.
And
Wow.
then worked over into another company called Makani Power that was building tethered wind generators.
Oh.
And then Google bought Makani Power. So then Gabe was working for Google, and he worked for them for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And then during that time, I think when he was working at Google, he called Mary Killinger and asked her if she was interested in selling her 10 acres, and she said, "No, but I'll sell it to you." She wasn't that excited about selling it, but because she knew that Gabe grew up on that property as well
Yeah.
as this property, she said, "Yeah, I'd be
I'll sell
happy
it
to
to
sell
you."
it to you." So she did, and so he kept working down there, and you know, I oversaw people doing excavation and that kind of thing, and then he went to work for Uber, trying to develop the self-driving cars,
Oh, gee.
and worked for them for a few years, and then he worked for a couple of other startups, and then decided to move back here, and he had a contractor come in and do the main structure of the house, and then I contracted out all the plumbing and the wiring, and then I did all the trim out in the house,
Oh,
and built the kitchen cabinets and the
well,
other
that's nice.
stuff that was there.
Yeah.
And so then he got a job with Blue Origin,
Oh.
Bezos' rocket company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been working for them for 5 years now, I think.
Wow. What's he doing? How's he doing that?
He,
I mean,
oh,
does he have to leave? He can do it from here?
yeah, it's remote. He's a manufacturing engineer, so he does all the specs for how they put things together, and what size nuts and bolts to use, and what grade the nuts and bolts are, and all that type of stuff. And he's built that shop there for metalworking, and so
My.
when he's tired at the end of the day from working for the corporate, he goes and works in a shop.
Putters around?
Yeah, or he goes back into the woods and makes trails or whatever.
Cuts
but
wood,
I
yeah.
mean, he's still an island boy.
Yeah, I know. They
And,
are. They are.
So
All of them.
yeah. So anyways,
Yeah, Guaymas is a special spot.
it is.
So, well, you've kind of done this, but my other question here is about any other early memories. Like, how did you meet your sweet Charmaine?
Oh, she was living at the sheep farm,
Oh,
Bill Budd's
yeah.
place, and I was working for Yachty on a project at her house.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "Ooh, is that cute
Who's
girl
that
next
girl?"
door?" Well, and Jerry said, "Well, that's Miss Charmaine." Jerry in his drawl. And so I went over under the pretext of looking at the tractor, and we just kind of got together, and
That's sweet.
yeah,
Yeah. So what was she doing at the sheep farm?
leaving the city.
Okay.
She,
Yeah,
she lived in Seattle. She was working at
Well, that's
Rainier Vista Clinic,
okay.
doing newsletters and things like that. Her
Office
degree
work.
was in journalism. Her initial degree was in journalism from the UW, and she had a 3.5, I think, grade point average. Pretty smart. A lot smarter than me in that type of thing.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but I'm pretty clever. I
we
think.
have our gifts.
Yeah,
We
right.
all have our gifts.
And then, when we got married and Gabe was 2 or 3 years old, we talked about preschool, and
Oh, yes.
she had her thoughts about it, and she wanted to have Gabe go to a Montessori school. So Tina was the Montessori school
Yeah.
at the time.
Brian went to
Yeah,
Tina's,
right.
And I remember Charmaine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she went there, and then at some point Tina asked her if she wanted to be an assistant, and Charmaine said sure. And so she started being an assistant, and then Joan Miller was working there as well as an assistant. And then Joan started her school, and Charmaine went to work for Joan. And then she went to work for Summer Sun Montessori in Mount Vernon. She worked there for 2 or 3 years, and then she decided she wanted to get a Montessori credential. And so there was a school down in Oregon run by the nuns, I think, that taught the Montessori. And so she was down there for a while, and she also, I think, did schooling in Seattle, and then she decided to get a master's degree. And so she got that from Loyola in Baltimore. Mostly correspondence, but then she had to go there for a summer or
A
two.
practicum.
Yeah. And so she graduated from there with a 3.9.
She's a smart girl.
Yeah, and so I took care of the kids while she was in Seattle and
Wherever.
Portland, and and at that point in time, Gabe was quite a challenge, but the thumb came down and said, "No, you're not doing that. I'm sorry. You're living with me, buddy, and that's it." And he hated me at the time. Yeah, oh yeah, button heads. But now,
Oh, gosh.
so much different. Yeah, yeah, no, he's glad that I did what I did at that
He
time.
learned a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, he had opinions, I remember.
Yeah, well, he still got them.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
working on the ferry committee, which is nice. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really is, yeah, yeah.
So-
So, do you have any other early memories of Guaymas that you want to share?
Oh, just parties that we had,
Yeah,
the boat
yeah.
builders had at different places, down at Nasham's and Square Harbor, and going down and eating prawns and crab and salmon, and when I was working on the top house for Delmer
Oh, yeah.
on the radio.
Yep,
Uh,
Bud fished with him for years.
Yeah, I know. Dwayne Whitney was
That's cute.
his partner in the boat, his nephew. And Dwayne had been fishing king crab with on one of the A boats, and he came back, and he said, "Oh yeah, I just got back," and he said, "I'm going out to Hendricks to bring king crab out there for his big cook." And I mean, these were all live tanked in the boat, and they cleaned them right there at the marina. And he said, "You want some?" And I said, "Sure." So I said, "Bring me a box." So I went and I got a little box like this, and he said, "Bring me a box." So I went and got a drawer that was about this big, and he loaded it
Oh.
with king crab.
Oh, nice.
And I went,
Well, thank you.
"Well, thank you." Yeah. So I brought it over the island, and Jan and Sarah Bailey, Jan Watson, he was a blacksmith at the time, working on David Jackson's boat, the
Yeah.
Sophia Christina.
Yes, Sophia Christina,
Sophia, yeah.
the sailboat.
Yeah. He was working on that, and they were living in Nasham's at the time.
Oh, dear.
And so I got off the ferry with this box of king crab, and I thought, "Oh, I'll just go over to see what they're doing." And said, "What are you guys having for dinner?" "Well, we got some blackberry pie." I said, "How about king crab?" They said, "No, we don't have any." I said, "Well, I got a box of them." And they said, "You do not." And I pulled out this box of king crab legs, and we got a bunch more people to come over and just feasted on king crab
fun.
legs and
You were sick.
blackberry pie.
That's perfect. Those are good times back then, we all were so spontaneous and, jumping on ideas and
Oh
good
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when I fished for Delmer, and when I fished for Whitney on the Sunwing, we could bring fish home. Tim Marisich wouldn't let any of his crew take any
Oh.
fish. No,
Oh,
he
no.
was a real bugger about that one.
Isn't that weird? Why?
Yeah, because it was money out of his pocket.
Well, I know,
you
but,
And Delmer, he did, take what
take
you
what
want. Yeah, and when I was in Alaska with Whitney, steelhead wasn't worth anything to sell to the canneries, and I said, "I'm gonna fillet them, cut them, and freeze them, and take them home." He said, "Take them all."
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, I must have got 50 or 100 pounds of steelhead that
Summer.
Yeah, and then when we come back down here and fish down here, and say, "Yeah, take a couple of those," and sockeye or coho or chinook or whatever.
Did you ever know George Kingston?
I did not.
Okay.
I know the name.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing that up is that he used to work at the cannery, and during the summer, Bud would, you know who George Kingston is, okay?
Right.
He was always like, "Take the salmon home." Take the salmon home. I mean, that's kind of
What you did.
what you did. You were generous, and
Yeah.
you knew it was appreciated, and
Yeah.
So anyway, he was that kind of guy. He taught Bud how to smoke salmon. He and Bob Benjesdorf.
Okay.
Yeah. So, any other memorable people that you can think of that you'd like?
Well,
to
actually, Bob was pretty memorable.
Bob Benchestar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite the character. He'd come around. He wanted to, you know, he collected aluminum cans. He did. He'd come over and get the aluminum cans, crush them, and take them and sell them.
And so,
And I was talking after Bob died, and said, yeah, he'd come over and he'd get the aluminum cans. He said he wasn't coming over to get the aluminum cans as much as he was to see what you had.
yeah, he was real good friends with Bud's dad, and so Bud was really good friends with him. And,
Right.
You know, I mean, he could fix anything, but you know, he lost all those fingers, and you know, you never would know it because the guy could do anything.
Right.
He was just one of those masters of, you know, sort of like.
Right, a machinist.
Yeah, he can do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lost the fingers because of alcohol.
I
Well,
didn't know that.
they drink on the job down at Towboat.
Oh, great, good
I
idea.
probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how he.
Yeah, well, I knew he did it at work. You know, that's all I knew.
Yeah, you know, Friday, Snapper Steinman, do you remember his name? You know Steinman's Market?
Yes.
Well, Snapper was a corker.
Okay.
He corked down at Towboat.
Yeah.
And Hibby worked at Towboat as well years before.
Wow.
When Benzesdorf was there. And every Friday, Snapper would go into the corking shed and roll oakum. Oakum was one of the two substances they put in to seal up the planking. They used oakum and they used cotton. If the seam was too big, too wide,
Yeah.
you'd put oakum in there, and it was I don't know, I'm not sure if it was hemp or something of that nature, but they'd get it and it'd just be a mess, and it'd have big chunks in it of the
Wood?
yeah, of what that oakum
Seeds.
was made out of.
Seeds. Yeah.
And so they'd roll it on their leg. They'd just take it and they'd roll it and they'd pick out all the stuff and roll it, pick it out, roll it, pick it out, take the bottle and take a nip and put it down and roll some more oakum and throw out the chunks. So everybody went into the oakum shed for a little tip,
I see.
right?
They're working.
Yeah, right. Back when they could do that, but I don't think that's allowed anymore. It wasn't even allowed then, but they did it anyway. So,
They're the good old boys.
Right. yeah, so, I mean, there's so many memorable things that when I got the roof on this shop, we had a big party here. Cooked albacore and salmon and had a keg of beer, and you know, 30, 40, 50 people showed up. And when Kenny was doing his the lead pour for his and then the framing party, after the lead was poured and the lead keel was laid down and the keel was laid on top of that, then he cut all the pockets for the frames to fit in, and got green oak and bent it, and so it was a whole bunch of people that came and helped do that. Had a big party afterwards, and then when the last plank went in the hull, there was another party for that, and you know, and the same at Dave Hartford's, same thing, you know, 30, 40, 50 people pouring lead, masked no, just looking over into the bathtubs full of lead.
Wow. Those are the days.
But Kenny and Dave both were smart in that they dug a hole in the ground, put the forms for the keel in that hole, backfilled around it and tamped it down so that it couldn't break the mold.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
When David Jackson did his, I think he may have done his first. he didn't do that, and the mold just expanded and expanded. So they had to cut a whole
Yeah, they
bunch
could-
of that lead off of the
that-
outside,
Yeah,
and that's a heck of a job.
right, I can imagine, yeah. Nasty.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, we just go down to the beach and eat crab, and when we worked at Loverock's, he had a couple of old barges there, and the shrimp would be on the sides of the barges, so we'd just go down and dip net the shrimp,
Net 'em up.
and because the stink plant was still next door,
Oh,
where they were processing the mink food,
oh, ooh,
you know, that
Yeah.
one that was to the east
yeah,
of Loverock's, yeah, so that was there.
that's nasty.
Yeah, oh boy, it was. But the shrimp loved it.
That's why they were there.
And yeah, that's why
Yeah,
they were there.
That's why, yeah.
And I don't know, there's just
Yeah.
Bob Porter's parties
Oh my,
where he'd light off the acetylene.
bombs, all this, and then we did we, for the 4th of July, he'd do all these pallets and send it out and turn it on
Put
fire.
it on the
Put it on fire.
at the low tide
Yeah,
line.
That's
Yep.
quite a project.
Oh boy. Yeah, those were
Those
and
are-
Bob's sawmill, you know, was he got that off of Cypress Island. He went out there, and there was one up on the, I believe it was up on the top, but I'm not positive about that. And he disassembled it, brought it over, put it together, and started beach logging.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, some of the lumber here is from that. The yellow cedar that's on the front of the shop and different places around here all came from Bobby's Thick and Thin Mill.
Yeah, Bud really misses him.
I do too.
Yeah.
I got to the point where it was hard to talk to him because he was
Oh, God.
proselytizing.
On that that food thing. Yeah.
But you know what? Andy Stewart, who had Emerald Marine in town, he got to be good friends with Bob. And after Bob got that, what was it, prostate cancer, right? And Bob told Andy, he said, you know, he said, forget all that stuff I told you, it was all bullshit. You know, so he finally
Yeah.
realized
Yeah,
that,
he told his neighbor too that I heard it from what a mistake. You know.
yeah. He could have enjoyed himself
But
and
as,
eaten all
well, you know
different
what?
things.
But he would come over and he'd say, "Don't tell anybody I'm eating this." I mean, he would sneak. I mean, he didn't. Yeah, he'd have pizza. You know, I mean, the kids would. You know, he would come over to the kids, but had lots of parties at the place, and they had a pizza
Right,
thing, and it was like, and then he'd come to our house for dinner, and you know, it's like eat regular food.
right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
but he cheated. I mean, he called it cheating. But
Yeah.
so you know, I think for a lot of it, he did eat. He did walk the walk, walk the talk.
He did, you
Yeah.
know. He came into our house one time, and because he had helped me do some troubleshooting on the planer,
Yep.
and I invited him back, and he came in, and we were in the kitchen talking, and you know, he was proselytizing, and I'm yeah, okay, Bob, okay, and he goes, you mind if I look in your kitchen cabinet? And I said,
Well, that's an odd question.
go ahead, Bob. And so he opened the cabinet doors, and you know, there's a bunch of different teas in there, and there's walnuts and pecans and Brazil nuts and almonds and granolas and dried fruits, and he's going, oh, well, this isn't too bad, but you shouldn't eat these. It's like,
I know it.
Bob!
Yeah, you're a guest. Too. You know, you're a guest in our home. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of yeah. He was a character.
He was, and you know, when I was working at Northern Marine, they'd be throwing rolls of fiberglass away that hadn't been used yet. I'd take them over to Bob and say, Bob, you want this? Oh, yeah, I really want that, because he was taking apart a boat and
Yeah.
trying to put it back together, but never quite getting there. And
Never finished it.
so, you know, I'd give him all this stuff, and then, you know, I said, hey, Bob, I said, I need some yellow cedar for the cabin that the kids are building. Because Austin and Elise built that little ADU that we have back there. And he said, oh, go take whatever you want. You know, so I went down and rummaged through the pile, and I realized that the roof had been leaking, and a bunch of the boards had been rotting.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, which was too bad because there was thousands and thousands of dollars worth of
Ouch.
beautiful lumber underneath there. Because when we were doing that beach logging, I mean, the logs were that big.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Red and yellow cedar, Doug fir. I've got, you know, planks around here that came from
Came
Bob.
from them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was too bad.
And, but, you know, he had A, D, 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 D.
Yes, he did.
And,
Yes, much to Linda's chagrin.
yeah.
Yeah, that was too bad.
But he was a wonderful guy, and he would help anybody
Yeah.
that needed it,
Yeah,
you know.
no, it's
And,
true.
and that's why they put up with him on West Beach. Because all of them were indebted to him
Right,
for
but they
fixing
shook their
something
heads so
for him.
much. What are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, no, he was much appreciated.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
in fact, I was talking to James, his Belinda's nephew. They're gonna
Harper.
they're gonna do I think they're doing something in September.
Oh, they
Yeah,
are?
to do a ceremony, so I'll be sure
Oh.
you hear about it.
Okay.
Yeah, they were good, yeah.
Well, Martha, James' wife, worked for Charmaine for 5 years.
Oh,
At
at the Montessori school?
Montessori,
Oh,
yeah.
and she's so sweet, isn't she?
She is. I don't see how she's Richard's daughter. but yeah, no. So we'll definitely.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. It'll be over there. So Bob, Bob is a special guy in Bud's life as well. And both Bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is there somebody else you can think of that you'd like to speak to? If you came here in '76, see,
77.
okay, and we were gone. We came back. We were in '83.
Bob Leatherwood. Another Bob.
Oh, wonderful man.
Bob Leatherwood. Yeah.
So we missed some of this stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah, so Bob, when I was fishing with Delmer and Dwayne, I'd be fishing dogs, and somehow Bob and I got into the conversation of smoked salmon, and he said, oh yeah, I smoke salmon, and he says, you bring the salmon and I'll give you half of it back smoked. And I said, okay, fine. And so we started with that, and we were doing dogs.
Yeah,
Always dogs, nothing else.
they're good.
They're not as good as sockeye.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bud, we went to a party, and Bud did 3 different kinds of salmon.
Yeah.
And blind tested everyone. And
Right.
they were smoked the same way, brined the same way, everything was the same. They all chose the dog, the humpy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yes, and I think it's maybe because it's oilier. I
It's
don't know.
very oily.
Yeah.
But the sockeye is too.
Yeah. This is like maybe 15 people, and to the one, they all chose.
The dog.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, maybe we should do a few dogs.
Well, it's the
see how
season.
that-
It's the season right now.
No,
It's
September. Dogs.
Oh, it's humpy season.
Humpies and sockeye.
Okay.
We're going to go pick up some sockeye tomorrow if the guy catches them. We get our yearly supply from a guy up in Bellingham, Archie Jorgensen.
Yeah.
And I called him early this year to see what was up. And he said, well, we may get a sockeye opener. I said, I'll take 70 of them.
70?
Yeah.
Wow.
10 for Eric Peterson in town, 10 for Megan's mom and dad, and 50 for Gabe and I.
Perfect. Yeah.
And that takes us through the year,
Yeah.
and
And you can be generous with it.
well, that's what
You
we
have-
do.
Yeah, exactly.
This year we did 2 weekends where we did 2 smokes of 8 fish each. And it's a long weekend doing that, but you get a good bunch of salmon and you just pass it out.
I know, it's fun to do. It's
Yeah.
fun to do. And another special thing about Bob is his work on the ferry. You know how the ferries changed so much, you know, I mean, we knew all the captains, we knew all the deckhands.
Yep.
First name, knew the families.
Yep.
It was just such a sweet time. I miss that.
Yeah, and Al Bassett was an amazing skipper.
He was. One of you know, I'm doing this trivia game, and and it was like, who is the captain? I wish I could remember the question, but it was like, you know, you could take anything to him, you know, and he'd go, "I'll get it done." That was his that was his comment.
Ray?
No, Al.
Oh,
Bassett.
Al did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'll take care of it. You know, I mean, that was just, you know, quietly, no drama, you know,
Right.
just, I'll
Right.
take care of it.
And I like the way when he was parking the cars, he was just matter of fact. No
drama.
bullshit. Just straightforward. And, when he wasn't the skipper of the boat, he was real friendly.
Yeah, he
But-
was on it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was part of the team. It was a team kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the team.
And-
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Miss those
And
days.
so, but anyway, Bob, he started me off doing the smoking, and and then he'd come over here and he'd look around the shop, and that's really nice, that's really nice. And he said, Evelyn wants me to get rid of the stuff in the garage. He said, I got this toolbox that was my stepdad's or something or other. And he said he got it from an old German guy. Fuller was the guy's name. And he said, can I store it at your place? And I said, yeah. It's underneath the bench over
Well, and side note, we have a picture of the outside and the inside in our other video on
the toolbox.
the toolbox. Yeah, on Mike's our video on his shop here. And
Right.
if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's incredible.
Yeah, and so that was great. And then Baker Auto Glass. You remember Baker Auto Glass?
I don't think so.
It was on R Avenue, 28th and R. It's where they sell bullfrog boats now, or whatever that boat thing is. That whole block is owned by Kevin Welch at this point. But Baker Auto Glass used to do auto glass. And Sid Wills, was that the guy that lived at Ships Harbor?
I don't know. Bud would know.
I think it was Sid Wills. But ask Bud that. Who was the old guy that lived at Ships Harbor that used to walk into town every day for his coffee? And he was like 90-something years old, living out at Ships Harbor in one of the warehouses out there. And Bob called me up and said, hey, Mike, you got to go to this sale that they're having at Baker Auto Glass.
Oh,
And I said, I don't have any money, Bob. He said, that's okay. You got to come anyways. I said, okay. So we went up there, and he's looking around. And do you know what a drag saw is?
no.
It's what they used to use down in Little Chicago on the water down there before it was all developed into the industrial park. And when logs had flowed in, they'd get the drag saw and they'd drag it down there, and it had a one-lunger engine on it, and it had a big cross-cut saw blade, and it cut the logs, right? and then the kids would split them and haul them up, and that was their firewood. Well, he had the drag saw and
Oh,
some other stuff. The drag saw is underneath the shop here, along with the blades. They're the saws, and a couple of other things that Bob wanted. And he said, Mike, he said, I can't take them home. You got to take them for me and store them for me. And I said, okay, fine. And so we put them underneath the shop. And then after Bob died, Evelyn called me up and she said, Mike, Bob wanted you to have the toolbox, and I want you to have the drag saw.
please.
And she said, you know, it's funny. Bob used to think he was getting away with all this stuff with me. She said, but I dealt with a checkbook. She said, I saw everything that he bought.
That's cute. Yeah.
And I thought that was, it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
You
She
know?
let him think he was getting away with stuff.
Yeah.
That's cute.
And so then when Bob died, I also got the smoker. And I used that for 25 years, 25
Oh, wow.
years. Until just a few years ago, it was so much, there were so many fasteners in there that had been put in after the original had been built just to keep it together. And the racks were all different sizes and different dimensions on how they, and it was just like, God, this
Too
is
much work.
too much work, yeah. And so Gabe had found, Tony Martis had given me a unit that was a sterilization unit from a hospital, and we turned that into the smoker. It's all
Perfect.
stainless steel.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and so when Gabe did his big burn over here, when he was first doing the clearing for this property that he bought from Mary, we put it up on the pile and did a Norwegian,
The fire.
the pyre, yeah, for Bob's smoker. And
Said a few words.
yeah, and but I mean, he's the one that taught me. I've modified it because I don't do green wood when I'm smoking. I do seasoned wood. The thing that I don't like about the green wood is it has a bite at the end of it from the creosote in the alder.
Oh,
When you burn green alder, it creosotes up. And so I don't like that bite. And Bob's recipe was olive oil, brown sugar, and rosemary that was put on after.
oh, it was more of a sauce.
Yeah, it's put on at about 5 hours, and you'd cook it for another 3 hours after that. That was, I mean, I love Bob.
Oh, yeah.
He was such a sweetheart. And
Well,
Bob and Bob.
yeah, I know, I love it. I'm just looking at that. Yeah, I think he had property down on North Beach.
He did. Yeah. Just to this side of Gilkey's.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think who bought it.
I don't know who's got it. Oh, well, Shannon,
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
he
yeah.
bought it, but I think the girls still own the
Back.
part of the back because Dave Shannon moved the snub-nosed gable across the street and built a new house, and the girls got the garage shed
Oh,
that was on the other side. So I think they split that. The one on the land side, I think they split that into 2 sections. And then the front section was one, but Dave really wanted that property, and Evelyn had no use for it. She didn't like Loomis,
oh, well, then it worked for both of them. It
Yeah.
worked for both of them.
except for the girls. They wanted
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But anyway, it worked out there. I mean, well, I haven't seen him there for a long time. Did he die or something?
he died.
Oh, yeah, God,
It's his,
I used to see him.
it's his boys.
Better there now. And did they ever, well, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't
Uh,
either. All right, is there any other, we talked about Bob's, any other events that that were memorable for you? Did you ever go up with Bob Porter's hot air balloon?
I didn't go up in it, but I watched
Well, yes.
the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was memorable.
That was memorable. And I've got a picture of Bob and who was the guy who built the house for down on South Shore? The concrete one. Mac Thompson.
Oh boy, that was a character.
Yeah, well, they were two peas in a pod, those two. They were both really bright guys, could build anything.
Yeah, yeah, fix
No.
anything.
Yeah, and I got a picture of them over here. Well,
Yeah.
it's on the door of the finish room.
Okay, when we're done, we'll go over there and just take a shot of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are plenty more, but
Oh, it's okay. I think Duke Torgerson was gone by the time you moved here, right? Because he would have been your neighbor.
that was his last name, Ferguson?
Torgerson,
Torgerson, that's it.
Duke, yeah.
Did he live where Stampers live
Yeah,
now?
no, he lived in the house north of it, one house down. One horse west. It's kind of like, it looks sort of like a two wide.
It's not there now? Is it still
No,
there?
it's actually where Stappy lives, or Tom Stapp lives.
Oh, he lived in that house?
I think
It
that,
must have been a small shack at that time.
no, it was, I mean, well, maybe it was. I can just remember parties there. I'll have to go look at that again because it's been a long time. I don't drive down there. But it was in that location. I mean, maybe it's a different house now. But now he lived west of where Stamper lives.
Huh. So that was a 20-acre piece.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Tom and Christie bought, a 20-acre piece
Okay,
there.
yeah.
I didn't realize that it was that far. I thought it was where Stamper lived. Fitzgerald owned that when I was here.
That's it. It was that house then.
Yeah, okay.
It is that house. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it wasn't a shack. I mean, it was a shack, but
Well-
it was probably like this big. I mean, maybe a little bit bigger than
Right, okay. So they added the garage end onto it.
Yeah.
And they also added another one in the back. They put another shed roof in the back.
Is that where they have a horse there now, right?
They got two.
Yeah,
she
there.
got
But that's
two.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
No. The shed on the house itself.
Oh,
They
oh.
put a shed roof off of the house.
Okay.
And Rick Petra came in and redid the whole interior of it.
Oh, nice.
Beefed up the ceiling and did a vaulted ceiling rather than, the foot high. Now, Duke, wasn't he the one that would shoot the mice in the house? Yeah, that's what.
Big drinker.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the one that Eddie came up to live with.
right.
His mom had been friends of Duke's, and so that's how Eddie got here.
Okay.
Because I guess he was having trouble down there. So,
I'm sure he was.
so she sent him up here.
Yeah. Well, I met when I was working on the Aviva with Tom George, the mechanic that was installing the engines was married to one of Duke's daughters.
Oh, I bet you. Well, the one that came and lived with him, what's her, Carrie? What's her name? I can see her face.
That could be.
Yeah. Oh, I can see her face, and I knew her.
I didn't know enough to ask him at the time about his wife.
Yeah, I don't know anything about his wife.
But, yeah, he said that, he mentioned Duke, Guimas Island, and I went, oh, yeah, I've heard about Duke.
Yeah, so now who was married to Duke's daughter? What was the guy's name?
I don't remember.
Okay.
He was a mechanic that came up from Seattle to install the engines on the Aviva.
Yeah.
And these are big 12-cylinder, bright white diesel engines, you know, I mean, $100,000 a piece
Deal.
at least.
Yeah, a big deal.
And that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, so any events? Did we already talk about that? Events. Like, you had lots of events because you celebrated, you know, every kind of building that you guys did. If you launched a boat, you celebrated.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, these things kind of come and go.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Well, there's, you know, I mean, everybody likes the 4th of July parades. You know, there's a little
Oh,
tradition,
yeah.
the traditional things that we do.
Oh, that's actually a good one. One year when I was the chief and the
Fire chief.
fire chief, the 4th of July parade was moseying on down North Beach, and we got a fire call.
In the middle of the parade.
And we were pretty close to your house, but not there or to Bud's mom's, Claudia's. Yeah. And so we had to take off. So we took off and went up to the fire hall. I think Gabe was in the front of the fire truck at the time.
As a part of the parade.
Yeah, right, you know. And so we went up to the fire hall, got the trucks, came back down, came around the corner at your place and just saw this billowing smoke coming up to the west. And it was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And
Do we have enough water, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I knew we didn't have enough water.
Yeah.
So we got down there, and in February or March, Stappy asked me for a burn permit. And I said,
Oh,
okay, yeah, I'll give you a burn permit. So he, you know, started burning stumps and stuff, and somehow the fire got down into the root systems of these trees, and by July it was just ripe to take off.
so it had been started in March?
Yeah,
Wow.
February or March.
Interesting.
Well, those roots, they had all that pitch in them,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just like a wick, and it would just, there wasn't a lot of air, so it wasn't burning fast, but there was just enough air to keep it, you know, like a wick, just burning, and it finally got into the tree and or what was left of it, and started burning it, and so we got
Oh,
up
my
there and I
goodness.
went. And this was after the storm of '90.
Okay.
And I knew that Bill Welch was still on the island doing logging. And so I called him up and I said, hey, Bill, I said, I need your help. I said, you have to come help us dig these stumps
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So Mike, his son, took the loader down there and started working it, and it wasn't enough, and so I called Pete Bone and I said, Pete, we need your loader up here too. He said, oh, I don't know if my loaders can do that. I said,
You can't.
Pete, it can do it just fine. I said, we need your help.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Pete came up with his, and they, you know, dug all this stuff up, and we were able to, you know, get it under control and watch it for a few days, and got it out. And so after Pete and Bill had finished, I said, send me a bill and we'll pay you. And Bill said, oh no, we're not sending you any bill. He said, you know, you needed our help, we helped. And Pete said, okay, I'll send you a bill. I said, actually, just send it to Stappy. And he said, okay. So he sent Stappy a bill. Stappy called me up and he says, hey, I just got a bill from Pete Bone. He says I owe him money for bringing his loader up and helping put that fire out. And I said, yep. I said, you do. And he said, well, I don't want to pay him. And I said, you don't have any choice, Stapp.
Yeah.
I said, he said, well, I'd rather donate money to the fire department. And he probably would have donated $5, you know. And I said, no. I said, you just pay Pete, and that'll be fine. Whatever Pete says you owe him, that's what you owe him. I'm not charging you anything for all of our people hours, but you got to pay.
The person who brought the equipment.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different thing. And it
Yeah.
wasn't fire department equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was memorable,
That is memorable. Wow.
you know.
So what years were you fire chief?
Probably 88, 89, 90, somewhere in there. I don't remember the exact years, but it was at that time. I think I was chief for 3 years.
Like 1989 to 91 maybe? That, I'll just put a question mark there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some questions for the trivia game, and I want to include the fire department because it's such a big deal. And I've talked to Olivia several times, but I haven't got anything from her yet.
Does she would know when.
Yeah.
The secretary
They have
has
to.
that.
They have to. Yeah. I'll find out. I'll find out who the secretary is. Talk to them.
Right. Yeah, and when that big blow came in,
In
that
1990.
yeah,
Yeah.
that Willowa or whatever they called it. I got a call from Carol Parks at, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she said, you gotta get me out of here, you gotta get me out of here. There's trees coming down all around, and I can't get out, I've gotta get out. And I said, well, let me get up and see what's going on, you know? And so I got up, because we were at Nelson's place at that time. And I got up, and I opened the front door, and I looked out, and I looked to the right, and there was a big white fur. There was a big white fur that had come down parallel to the house.
Oh man.
Boom. And it was probably close to 2 foot in diameter. And I looked at that and I went,
This is serious.
yeah, this is serious. And because our bedroom was on the other side of the house, and so we didn't hear that. And I got up and I got in the car and started driving, and I can't remember where the first place I was blocked was, but it was somewhere.
You
And,
couldn't
and
drive
then I
on.
went over to West Shore and saw what happened on West Shore. I mean, there were trees like this, boom, all the way down West Shore.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, we were in California for Christmas when that happened, and then we got a call, and so we got in a car, you know, I think we drove, yeah, and came back, and Claudia, I guess Claudia had called us. Her house, I mean, you know, like there were trees, like you're saying, huge fir trees on all sides, and it had just missed her house. I mean, but it was like here, she couldn't get out the door, she couldn't get out the back door. That's how, I mean, that was a really amazing
Yeah.
event. I mean, just amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
And that's why Bill was on the island during that fire, was because he
Because-
was logging that.
Oh, all that down.
Yeah, yep. And I think Dean probably at the time was the road manager. But he couldn't take care of all those trees.
No,
you know? I
nobody
mean,
could.
There was way too many.
It was wild.
Yeah,
When we came, we just could not believe it. It was
yeah.
just like,
So
that was a big cleanup.
it was. Yeah, you just never know what's gonna happen. You think you're safe, right?
There's a couple of cedar trees by our house, and I'm kind of going, I don't know about those.
Yeah, well, and that happens. About 2, maybe 3 months ago, there was a branch on the cedar tree, and we've got about a 3-foot cedar tree. It's 20 feet from the house. Right?
Yeah.
And there was a branch that came down like this, swooped down and kind of went up. And I was sitting in the kitchen having breakfast, and on the corner of my eye, I saw this, and I went over and looked, and that branch just broke off.
Just snapped.
Yeah, and all that weight outside of it, and it was probably 15, 20 feet long,
Oh, boy.
you know, and it just snapped. And I went, whoa.
Yeah.
And another time, a tree came down, a hemlock, that was over by the woodshed, and there's a maple there, there's a couple of cedars, a fir, a yew tree, and there was this pretty good sized hemlock, probably 16 or 18 inches. It came down, boom, and just missed the garden fence, and came within 5 or 10 feet of the house.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Joseph Miller lost his studio, and when it just went like a tree. I mean, it went almost like an arrow, just kind of went like that
Yes.
directly.
I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He was making knives in there at the time.
Oh, is that what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've got the knife making sander that he
Really?
had. He sold it to me. At
Yeah.
that point, he just said, "I'm done making knives."
Yeah.
And I think he got into the computer stuff at that point.
Boy,
But
thankfully.
so he sold me that knife making sander, and it's a great tool for
Is
me.
that right there?
No, it's back behind
Oh, okay.
some
So
stuff.
can you sharpen knives?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I use it for a lot of different things. It's not very little in the knife thing. I mean, I just sharpen our knives when they need them, but it's more for aluminum and brass and steel
Yeah.
that
Comes in
I'm
handy.
sanding. Yeah, it's just part of
Yeah.
what I do here.
Come-
Because I work with a lot of different things, not just wood. You know.
Well, it sounds like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do. Yeah.
So, somebody's coming, but
I
I don't
know.
know who. I hope it's not a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
I said the other day, Sunday, car came around the corner and I was over here and I'm looking at it and it's a white car and it's moving real slow. And I thought, who the heck is that?
Yeah.
And so I went out, got on the bike, and started heading back towards the house. I thought it was a Jehovah's Witness because every once in a while they'll come in. And I tell them, get out, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm not that nice when I say it to them, but I want them to know that
You
I
wanted
don't-
to get him directly.
Yeah.
No conversation.
Yeah, no coming back.
Yeah.
And, but it was Tom Stapp
Oh.
delivering mail.
Oh. Funny.
And so I was talking with Chrissy the day after that.
Somebody's coming up.
Hey, Gregory!
What's happening?
Not much.
I got a surprise for you.
Do you know Greg Vimmen?
I do.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Just a second. Maybe I should turn this off.
Turn it off.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're doing a.
Well, you're not in the picture.
Yeah. Just if you could just give us like 3 minutes, we'll just finish this up. So, is there anything else you want to share? I mean,
No, but
we're
you
gonna
take
do
a
that
picture of-
We're gonna do.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
If
you.
I can think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. That's great. Thank
No,
you
it's
so
been
much.
fun, actually.
Yeah. Well, good. It's been interesting for me, for sure.
Okay,
Okay,
this
let
is
me-
Frank Orr from Anacortes with one of his one-lunger engines. Kit Marcinko below him, waving hello.
Yeah.
Tony Foster below that, who was a great guy on the island. That's myself, Gabe, and Austin, and Gabe's 22-inch Dolly Varden that he caught upriver.
Wow.
Bob Porter and Mac Thompson in the balloon.
Oh, wow. In the
that's-
hot air balloon.
That's me and Uncle Albert. Uncle
Yes,
Albert
yes,
again.
yeah.
That's Don Rolfing, who is a finisher. Pat Brody, who is as crazy as they come.
Was he on the island?
Oh,
remember
yeah.
him. I don't remember him.
Yeah, he, for the first couple of years, until he went overboard on a crabber.
Ooh,
He was born and raised in Anacortes.
okay. And his name was what?
Pat Brody.
Okay.
Gary Aronson, he's from Cedar Woolley. Tom Lindsay
Oh, Tom.
was
Tom.
a sweetheart.
Oh, God, no kidding.
This is Austin in the shop. We were working on a project. This is Gabe when he was 14 years old, working one night building a robotic car. Gabe and Austin, excuse me, I have to take that. I don't know how that got there. Gabe and Austin on Austin's wedding day, and that's Reed, Austin's
Oh,
son.
cute. Cute.
And that's a bridge out of noodles that Gabe made
Oh, for Joe
In
Fern's class, I bet.
Joe Fern's class in high school.
Okay,
So
excellent.
that's the ones.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Don.
And
It's been
you'll
fun.
be seeing this, and I'm going to turn this off. We'll be seeing you soon.
Okay.
There's more to come, more stories.